Hello, I'm Amanda. I'm a YouTuber, a podcast co-host, a video editor, a personal assistant, and a vegan foodie, and this is a week in my work life. So good morning, my beautiful friends. Welcome to a brand new video. Hope you're all doing very well. Before we get into the video, I realized I needed to explain what I actually do for work for those of you who may be new here or just don't know what it is that I do for work. So first things first, I make YouTube videos and I have an Instagram, and the way that I make money on those and the way that they're a source of income for me is first of all through YouTube AdSense. So the ads that may run before or during the video, I make money from that, as well as that I do sponsored videos, and so that is a source of income for me, as well as doing sponsored Instagram content. I also have a podcast with my best friend and housemate Cara, so that is something that we are working on at the moment, and that is really a passion project that we are trying to make a source of income at the moment because we love doing it so very much. And then as well as that, I work for a YouTuber, content creator, businesswoman here on the Gold Coast as her personal assistant and video editor. I edit her YouTube videos, I edit some reels for Instagram, I assist with content creation, I assist with emails, and I just assist with like general organization, I suppose, as a PA. So yeah, that's everything that I do. Let's get into this week in my life, starting of course with Monday morning. Okay, good morning and welcome to Monday. First things first for this week, and I actually need to get into planning my week. So sometimes I will do this on a Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. Other times I'll do it on a Monday morning, and it's basically where I sit down, look over everything that I have to do for the week ahead, and then plan how I am going to get everything done and just sort of like plan out my week as best I can. Probably one of the main things with what I do for work is that I do need to be flexible with my schedule, in the sense that sometimes things will just take longer than I expect them to, or will take less time than I expect them to, and therefore my schedule does end up changing throughout the week. It's not like this morning I will sit down, plan out everything I'm doing for the week and figure out a schedule and it will exactly go that way, because honestly it never does, but it just sort of gives me a good guideline of what things to prioritize on what day. So when it does come to planning and prioritizing things during my week, there are a few ways that I keep track of this. The first thing is I always keep track of my YouTube upload calendar. So I have a sort of set guide to the videos that I want to make every month, and I have like a guideline for which one is like the next video that I'm prioritizing working on. As well as that, I always keep track of the sponsorships that I have happening. Sponsorships I'll talk about in this video at some point, I'm sure, but sponsorships are a big part of the way that I make money as a small creator. And then as well as that, there are other things that I'm working on, like goals that I have with my own content and things like that, and it's important that I keep myself accountable with those. And then with my job as an assistant and video editor, there are things that I will know I have to prioritize with that I will know I need to make sure that I'm on top of and that my boss is on top of as well. Okay, so I have written my to-do list for this week, which includes filming what I eat in a week, scripting, filming and editing a sponsored video, recording the podcast. We're actually recording 2 episodes this week, finalizing the podcast website. I also will edit a podcast episode, start editing what I eat in a a week, film a couple of Instagram reels, catch up on my emails, and also plan my content. And then what I've also done is figured out what I'm going to do today. So for today, I'm going to film my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner for my what I eat in a week. I'm going to plan my Instagram feed for Amanda Ducks, and then also do some Instagram feed planning for the podcast, plan my 22 ways video, which is a sponsored video that I'm going to film this week. I need to call the bank. I need to post a reel for the podcast, do some editing for this video that I am currently filming, also film an intro for this video that I'm filming, and catch up on my emails. So this is definitely a realistic amount of work for me to get done today, which is good, because something I had been in the bad habit of doing is almost like setting myself up for failure by giving myself so many things to do in one day that I absolutely would not be able to get done. So this looks like a really good day, and if you are someone who's self-employed or you're looking to become self-employed, something I definitely recommend is being realistic about your goals, because it can be really hard to not stop working when you're working from home, especially if you really enjoy what you do. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do this morning, which I feel like is gonna start my Monday off right, is get into scheduling Instagram posts, not only for my Instagram Amanda Ducks, but also for our podcast Instagram tbh.pod. And because Instagram is something that I juggle along with a lot of other things, I have recently started, like this year, so for a couple of months, I have started using an app called Later, which you can use on your mobile or on desktop. You may have heard of it before. It is a very helpful platform for scheduling on social media, and just sort of helps with like your marketing and content schedule and all of that kind of stuff. For me personally, I've found that it just really simplifies everything, and it also really helps if I have sponsored Instagram content that needs to go up at a certain time and that kind of thing. And especially with the podcast, because the podcast is definitely a passion project for us at the moment, and we're trying to be more on top of posting on Instagram. I have found that Later has been really helpful, because I already have the content there ready to go and can schedule it or post it when I would like to. So yes, I'm going to get into doing some scheduling for Amanda Ducks right now, so I'll show you what I am doing. Okay, so I am in Later on the desktop, and as you can see on the left here, this is my media library. So whenever there are things that I think that I might like to upload in the future, or any content that I may have, I upload it into here so that I have it ready to go. And my thoughts at the moment with Instagram is that I really want to be posting both lifestyle content and food content, and also keeping it nice and light and vibrant and full of color. With that being said, I decided I wanted to make like a food post with a bunch of food that I had found in my camera roll. So when I want to go to do that, basically I just select them in the order that I want them to go in a multi-photo post. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'm going to click down here. It says multi-photo post, and I can see everything in here. So then I can choose when I want to post this. So I'm thinking I'm going to go live with this probably this Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. And then I'm also going to type out a caption. If I'm not feeling super inspired with a caption at the time that I'm doing it, I will just write something random, because it's something I can always go back and change. So for this one, I am just going to do like a little camera roll dump moment. I also might schedule something else. I have a few photos of myself here that I just sort of want to see how they look on my feed. I'm not going to post them super soon, but I just kind of want to have an idea of how they're going to look. So for example, this photo, I can click on it and then go to create post. That's kind of a cute photo, right? I think it's cute. And then if I go up here to preview, I can see what my Instagram is looking like. So I have this post that I just posted this morning, and then I also have this one I just scheduled, as well as this one that I scheduled yesterday, and then this one that I just posted to see what it would look like. You can also drag things around if I wanted to see how that would look like that. So yes, that is Later, and that is what I have been really enjoying using recently. And I was also really excited because Later reached out to me to sponsor today's video, which I loved so much because I had literally started using it and started loving it so much. And then they were like, hey, can we sponsor a video? And I was like, absolutely, yes, you can. So I genuinely recommend it. It's, yeah, helping me out a lot. So I've been using the growth plan, which I really enjoy, and you can get a free trial of it as well if you're wanting to check it out. And as well as that, I have linked Later's blog down in the description box. It has heaps of helpful tips when it comes to all of this kind of stuff. So I definitely recommend checking that out if you're looking to try something new with your social media profiles, whether it be your personal, professional, business, whatever it is. Definitely something to check out. Okay, now that the Instagram feed is planned, I can tick that off my list, and I'm going to start getting into everything else I need to do for work today.
Counters and window panes, sun is bright, it's a new day, and I feel brand new.
Ooh! Oh. So for context, we are releasing our merch for the podcast in how long?
Week and a half.
In a week and a half. And our printer for all of the labels when we send everything out just arrived. It's an exciting day because it feels like it's actually happening.
Super exciting.
That's so nice.
So nice. And we got mailers with Indigenous artwork on them. That'll fit the things properly, right?
Oh yes. Okay, hello, welcome to Tuesday. Just about to get into what we're going to do for the rest of the day. But first I just need to have a moment for the state of the apartment right now. So I just filmed my lunch and a snack for my what I eat in a week. And we just got this whole situation, which to be honest, my kitchen sink looks like this most times that I'm filming, especially when I'm filming what I eat in a week. And then we did a little bit of an unboxing moment. So we've got a whole lot of mess happening over here as well. So it's been a busy start to the day already. This morning I woke up and I went to work. So when I went to work, it was my job as a PA/video editor, and because it was the first day of our working week together and also the first day of the working month together, it was very much so just sort of like a planning, scheduling kind of day. And other than that, there wasn't a whole heap of work for me to do in terms of there was no editing for me to do, and we had no content specifically to shoot today. So I just did a little bit of planning there this morning, then came home, and when I got home our packaging for our merch had arrived, which is really good because we're launching our merch for the podcast next week and we were waiting for that to get here, so that is very exciting. Other than that, I did some filming for what I eat in a week, which when I film what I eat in a week videos, my weeks tend to be chaotic in general because obviously when you're filming everything that you're eating, it does increase the amount of time that eating and cooking takes. And yeah, because of that, that's like a big part of my work week gone just with filming food. But anyway, despite that, I like to get as much as I can done in between filming all of my food. So now that I have planned my work week with my job, that allows me to now sit down and figure out my work week for myself and things that I am going to do on specific days. I personally really like to do this. I'm a big planner and I really like structure in my work week, even if I struggle to stick to it a lot of the time. It really helps me and motivates me to wake up and know exactly what I need to do that day and know what deadlines I'm working towards and that kind of thing. So I'm going to bring you over to here, and over here we're going to start going into planning the week, and I'm going to show you how I keep myself organized, because when I asked you on Instagram what you wanted to know in this video, a big part of it was how I keep myself organized. So let's dive in. So the first thing that I am going to open is Notion, which I've spoken about Notion before because I use Notion for most of my organizing and keeping track of a lot of things. Okay, so when we open Notion, on the left here we have all of my different tabs. So I have my income for different financial years here. This is just how I keep track of money that is coming in, because when you get paid by brands, they will often have different payment terms. Like some brands will pay you within a week, other brands will pay you within 2 months. This is a good way for me to just keep track of what's coming in at what different times, so I can try and keep on top of my finances. Then we have my calendar, which is like the main thing that I use. I also have a 2022 to-do list. This has my goals, as well as I keep track of what videos I want to be doing every month and what reel ideas I have and things like that. Then I also have a YouTube upload calendar. That's just how I keep track of what videos I'm filming at what times, and then what videos are going live on what dates. I also have video notes. This is just a general tab for if I have any notes or like recipes for videos. And then I also have a dream collaboration list, just so I can see if I happen to do my dream collaborations, and I can always come back to that. As I mentioned though, the main thing that I use is my calendar, which is what we're in right now. This also has personal stuff in it, but it also just helps me keep a track of things that I have going on. So this is the week that we are in right now, and as you can see, I am filming a week in my work life, which I had planned for about a month to do. I'm also filming what I eat in a week, which I'll finish up on Thursday. So today when I was at work, we decided I was going to work this Thursday. I will have a start time, but I won't have a finish time. So I just know that at 8:30 a.m. I am starting work on Thursday, and then I can sort of figure out the rest of my week. My friends are also getting married this weekend, which is very exciting. So the way that I like to do this is, for example, I knew today that I was going to have to plan the podcast episode, plan the video that I was supposed to plan yesterday, and then also we're recording the podcast today. So this is how I like to put things into my Notion. And now I can really figure out, based on the to-do list that I made yesterday of things that I need to do this week, where things are going to fit in. So I'm going to get into doing that now, and then we'll go from there and figure out how the rest of my work day is going to be looking. Okay, so what do we have? What did I need to do? Okay, so I've planned my week. I'm feeling really, really good about it. So yeah, you'll be able to see everything that I have done here. Basically, I will do things like, you know, plan, record, edit, film, and things like this. And it just, you know, keeps me on top of things, and I like to have a visual thing of everything that I need to do. So for example, on Thursday, I know I'm starting work at a certain time, but based on the amount of work that I know that we need to do, I probably won't be there super late in the day. So once I get home, I'll be able to do things like edit the podcast in the evening, or film an Instagram reel whilst there's still nice light in our apartment in the afternoon. Something else I should have mentioned is I also keep due dates. So if I have a brand deal that's due on a certain day, because that's how it will often work, you'll be given a date that you need to send the video for review in order for it to go live by a certain day. So I also keep my due dates in here just to keep me on top of everything as well. So it's actually looking like not a very busy day today. I need to do a bit of planning with the podcast episode and planning my video that I'm going to film tomorrow. So what I'm actually going to do for the next like half an hour is I'm just going to tidy up a bit. As you can see, the kitchen is a bit of a mess, the lounge is a bit of a mess, and also my bedroom is a bit of a mess. And I personally find that with working from home, when I have a messy space, I tend to feel a lot more cluttered and I become a lot less productive. So when I have downtime like this, or some mornings I wake up and before I even think about starting to sit down and start work for the day, I will just spend half an hour cleaning my space because it saves me more time in productivity. I'm going to do that, and then we'll figure out how we're going to plan some things, and I'll talk to you about how I'm going to plan things as well, because planning is a very important part of content creation. Yeah, okay, I'm going to clean. Hello hotties, welcome to a brand new episode of To Be Honest the podcast. My name is Amanda and I'm sitting across from the beautiful, spectacular, unbelievable, unforgettable, so beautiful, incredible Miss
Cara Reedy. I really hate when I have to introduce myself like that. I will say it's a brand new episode, but it is not a brand new setup because we are back in our apartment. So obviously we have been recording in a studio for the past few weeks and we've been loving it.
Yes.
It's been so good.
Okay, happy Wednesday. It's hump day and it feels like hump day, that's for sure. Hello, welcome to Wednesday. I'm about to get into my work day for today. Done my hair and my makeup because I'm doing a lot of filming today. And yeah, let's touch on things that happened yesterday because I did not finish what I wanted to talk about yesterday. So yesterday afternoon, Cara and I recorded the podcast. We recorded at home, which we actually have not been doing this year. This year, for our third season of the podcast, we moved into a podcast studio so that we could do both video and audio formats of the podcast, which has been a really, really wonderful experience. We love recording in the podcast so very much. This week was a little bit different. You may have seen on social media that there has been some devastating floods happening in southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. So yes, no podcast studio for us this week. We decided to improvise and just record at home with our old setup with the cans of beans as our tripod for the podcast. But I will definitely ensure when we are back in the podcast studio, I will definitely ensure to bring you along and show you what the studio is like. As I mentioned yesterday, I was also planning the podcast episode. That's something that Cara and I will take turns in doing, or sometimes we'll do together. It's very important for us to plan podcast episodes because they usually go for about minimum an hour. And whilst we don't write down every single thing that we're going to talk about, we just write down dot points and sort of like directions that we want to take the episode to ensure that there is a flow and to ensure that we're hitting all of the points that we want to hit. Obviously, sometimes we make funny episodes, other times we make serious episodes, and in both of those, there are often things that we will really want to make sure that we mention. So that's something that I did yesterday, which was a really enjoyable one to plan and also record. And then when it comes to planning YouTube videos, so I always plan what YouTube videos I'm going to film every month and then every week and all of that kind of stuff. I actually need to start planning my videos for April because whilst it's only the beginning of March, sometimes videos take quite a long time to make, so I need to be prepared. However, that's not the point of what I'm trying to say. The point of what I'm trying to say is when it comes to planning YouTube videos, it's not something that I do, like I don't like script my YouTube videos or anything like that, but a lot of the time it is important to again make sure I have notes of points that I want to get across or things that I know that I want to include in the video. For example, if I'm filming a what I eat in a day video, there might be a recipe I have been really loving that I really want to share, so I'll make sure that I'm including that. For the video that I'm filming today, it is a video about sustainability and minimizing your impact, and there are some things and some points that I really want to make sure that I get across. So yesterday afternoon, I spent the good part of an hour just not only doing my own research, but also really writing down some important things that I really wanted to make sure I spoke about in the video so that I feel fully prepared and I'm not watching it back, editing it, being like, I have to refilm this whole thing because there are so many things that I miss. So yeah, a lot of the time it's more like dot point kind of stuff, but it is really important for me as a creator to stay on track and ensure that I am really making videos that I feel really proud of and I feel have a good message. With all of that being said, I actually need to get into filming today. Today is quite a big day. I have a lot on. Of course, I'll be filming everything that I eat in a week, so that is all going to be happening as well. But I also need to do quite a bit of filming and all of that kind of stuff. So first things first, I need to film this video. I'm in a chatty mood right now as well, so it works very well. I'm going to get into filming a video and then yeah, we'll catch up when I have more to communicate on and things to show you. Today I'm just having one of those days that really isn't going to plan, and these things happen. I'm getting into cooking my lunch and filming my lunch because we're still doing the what I eat in a week thing. But yeah, I just tried to film that video and I was in my room for like an hour nothing was coming out the way that I wanted it to come out, and I just thought, you know what, I need to start doing something else, do some other work things, and come back to that video. So that is what I have decided to do. I'm gonna make lunch. I'm making a nourishing lunch which will make me feel better. Going to eat all of this, and then we'll get into what I'm gonna do next. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of editing just to like ground myself, feel productive, and then hopefully regroup and come back and film the video that I very much so need to film, because this is the thing. I'm on a time crunch for the video that I need to film today because it's due by the end of the week. So yeah, I really need to get it done. Okay, so I'm gonna start editing the podcast right now. The podcast goes live on a Friday morning at 5 a.m. and today's Wednesday, and I haven't started editing it. So that's something that I'm gonna get into right now. For editing the podcast, today I'm gonna be using GarageBand, which when we record from home, we record straight into GarageBand and then edit in GarageBand as well. But if we were to record in the studio and then edit at home, we would actually edit in Final Cut because we're doing audio and video. So yeah, again, wish I could show you how I usually would be editing in Final Cut. However, today it is going to be a GarageBand moment. I'm gonna get into that. I feel like what I'm gonna do is commit to finishing editing the podcast. It should hopefully take me like 2 hours, edit the podcast, get that done, get that exported so that it's done, and then come back to filming the video that I need to film today. And hopefully I'm feeling nice and inspired and energized after getting the podcast done. So hello, good morning, and welcome to Thursday. So here's the thing, I really wish that this week had been one of those really exciting work weeks where I was out and about and like shooting content and doing all of this different stuff, but like the reality of this week is me sitting in this chair and editing videos and also just filming my food, and that's kind of been what the week has been. Today is going to be another huge day of editing. I have 3 videos to edit. So I went and picked up some footage from my boss this morning. I need to edit a video for her. I also need to edit a video that I'm on a deadline for today. And then I also need to start editing, well, continue editing this video that I'm filming right now, because it's a weekly video. When it's a weekly video, I will sometimes just start editing stuff from earlier in the week just to get ahead. But yeah, I do apologize that it hasn't been like the most exciting work week. If you're more curious about like other work that I've done and stuff like that, I'll link my last week in my work life video down below, which has a little bit more going on in that kind of way. But this is just the reality of work. Sometimes my work is like me sitting at home at my desk for a week, and other times it's me being out and about every single day. It honestly changes all the time. So yeah, I'm just about to start doing all of my editing. If you're curious, I edit with Final Cut Pro. I've been editing with Final Cut Pro for about a year now. I haven't always edited with Final Cut Pro, but I find it to be the most user-friendly program for sure. Genuinely really recommend it. So yeah, I'm gonna get into my editing now, and not a whole lot else is gonna be happening today, but if anything changes, I will be sure to let you know. Okay, so hello, welcome to Friday. This week has been a very different week, but we're just rolling with it at the moment. I'm going to be spending my day today editing again because that is just what is at the forefront of my mind right now and what is the priority. Today I'm also going to sit down and plan my week for next week, and the reason that I really need to focus on doing that today specifically is because there's a lot of things that I didn't get done this week, but there are a lot of things that I did get done but didn't expect to. So I find at the end of the week, regrouping and like figuring out what my main focuses for next week need to be is a really, really good thing for me to do. So I'm definitely going to do that today because like I was supposed to film Instagram reels this week and I absolutely did not do that, even though that's something I'm trying to prioritize right now. So that's definitely going to be a big focus for me next week. But considering the fact I'm just going to spend the rest of the day editing and you've seen a lot of that, I thought that I would answer a few questions that you sent me on Instagram regarding what I do for work and that kind of thing. First question was, can you do a rough breakdown of the amount of hours that you do for every week? And as is probably evident by the rest of this video, I really kind of can't because it changes every single week. I would say for the most part, I would do about 10 to 15 hours per week in my PA and like video editing job. And then I would spend like the other 30 plus hours a week doing YouTube. Due to the nature of my work, some weeks it just is slower than other weeks. Like there'll be weeks where I'll be working like up to 60 hours and then there'll be other weeks where I only work for like 20 to 25 hours. That's just kind of the way that it goes depending on how much work is happening for me, how much work is happening for my boss, and how up to date I am on my work in general. Do you ever get lonely working for yourself and working at home? Honestly, I used to, but these days I really don't because my life is very social outside of work. As well as that, I do have that 10 to 15 hours a week where I am working with others. And I also have the luxury of having my best friend who I do the podcast with, and she's at home a couple of days a week as well. So I have the company of her. So it's something that used to affect me, but definitely doesn't anymore. And I actually really enjoy being at home and spending that time by myself. Yeah, it's something I really like. How do you organize invoices? So I create my invoices on Canva, which is a tool and a program that I use very frequently. I make my thumbnails with it. I do invoices with it. I do pretty much anything that's like basic graphic design because I really am not a graphic designer. I use Canva to do that kind of thing. In terms of organizing my invoices, earlier in the video I was talking about Notion and showing like how I have like my pay coming in and stuff like that. So that's how I track what invoices have been paid, and then I just make the invoices, in Canva. Okay, this is a really good question. What do you do for self-care to not be overwhelmed by your workload? Self-care is something that some weeks I am really great with and I'm really good at prioritizing, and other weeks, on those weeks where I'm working up to 60 hours, I am really, really bad at prioritizing self-care. It's honestly something I'm actively working on at the moment, so I'll definitely have to get back to you when I figure out the trick. But for the most part, I really try and remind myself of why it's important to rest and why it's important to prioritize doing things that make me feel good before or after work. I will often find if I wake up early in the morning and go for a walk and then come home, I'll actually have way more of a productive day. But sometimes it's really hard getting myself to go on that walk when I know I have so much work to do. So yeah, something I'm actively working on. I don't have the answers just yet, but hopefully I'll figure it out in time. Are you doing your dream job or do you have any goals to get there? So I'd say at the moment I am doing my dream job. Like honestly, I always dreamed of working in a creative field. I always liked the idea of working for myself, but also working for someone else. So yeah, I feel pretty lucky and very grateful to be doing what I'm doing. With that being said, in particular with making YouTube videos, I have days where I'm like, I cannot do this anymore because I feel really exhausted. I feel like the criticism gets to me emotionally and impacts my mental health a lot, and I just think to myself, like, how can this be my dream job? Because, you know, there are parts of it that make me feel so anxious and so stressed. So I definitely think it's something that has its days. I have a lot of ideas of things I'd love to do in the future, but I don't have a specific like dream job in mind. I'm just happy and grateful to be doing what I'm doing. I love my job working as a PA and video editor. I really feel like that's something I could look at doing more of in the future, but for now I'm happy and content, and yeah, I feel pretty lucky to be doing what I'm doing. With that being said, I also wanted to talk about goal setting quickly, because to me, goal setting is a really important part of what I do, especially being self-employed. I find there can be periods where I'm like feeling so uncreative and so like I can't figure out what I want to be doing or what I want to be creating. And I think that there is something recently that I feel like I fully unlocked in some way. And I learned this really good tip from my agency, because I recently signed with an agency and they manage my collaborations and sponsorships and things like that, which has been just honestly the best thing that I have ever done. It has been so helpful. Anyway, for a long time there, I felt like I was just like making videos that I thought that like everyone was going to want to see. I was just trying to make like a heap of food videos, then throw in some vlogs here and there, but a lot of it wasn't coming from a place of like pure heart. And when I signed with my agency, they were talking to me about like, you know, what type of videos do you want to be making? Do you have any video ideas or any goals that you have for yourself? And whilst I have goals, for example, like at the moment, I really want to focus on making more Instagram reels, because I love video content so much. Like I prefer video content so much, and I love that there is space for that on Instagram now. I have a lot of ideas of things that I really want to share. But when it comes to YouTube and my goals with YouTube, I learned this really good piece of advice, which was that 50% of your videos should be videos that people subscribed for. So for example, a lot of people came to my channel for like what I eat in a week videos or food videos. So 50% of my content should be that. 30% of my content should be me creating content that I really enjoy and videos that I really love making. So for me, I love making vlogs and I love talking about mental health, personal development, and just being open about things in general. And then 20% of your videos should be videos that are, you know, a little bit left of center and could maybe engage new people with your videos. And I learned this and I was like, this just makes me feel so much better about the idea of setting myself goals and having like realistic things to work towards, because for so often I was just feeling super stagnant and super like, I don't even know what type of videos I want to be making. I don't really feel that good when I make videos that I'm really excited to make, but then people don't, you know, not as many people watch them, and I feel like, you know, I spent so much time and energy, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know what my point was in saying any of this. I think my point is that when it comes to goal setting and creativity, I think it's important to allow space for both, to have things that I'm strict with myself with, which, you know, I need to upload this amount of videos per month. I want to work towards making this amount of Instagram reels and really being on top of posting on Instagram more regularly. Things like that, right? But then as well as that, I need to allow room for creativity. And, you know, lately, because I've been really focusing on like, okay, what type of things do I want to communicate? I'll have these video ideas pop into my head and think about things that I want to talk about, and I'll note everything down, and I feel so much more inspired to create that content, if that makes sense. Anyway, once again, I feel like I have no idea what my point is here, but that's how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm feeling good about making videos, which is really nice. Anyway, with all that being said, I think that's going to bring us to the end of this week. If you want to see more of my work life in future, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I definitely can make sure to film on a week where there is hopefully a lot more going on. As always though, I do want to say a big thank you for being here and supporting me and my YouTube channel. It means the world to me. I hope you know it, and I look forward to seeing you very soon for another video. No, for another video. I don't know. Okay, bye. Have a beautiful day. Bye.